I'm going to be honest, this feels like a long shot, but I felt like we should at least discuss it. The rumor is that the Vancouver Canucks are willing to listen to offers on Elias Pettersson. This would move the needle for Detroit in a big way, but the price is going to be high, and Pettersson has to say okay because he has a full no-move clause. Is he really available, and can Detroit put together a package that would bring him in and push the franchise forward? This is your 7-Minute Wings. Welcome back to the Red Wings Report with Strings and Pucks. This is Jeremy Lura. Please click like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Share this out and head over to hockeyhotstove.com where I write the Red Wings column. I really don't love diving into some of the trade rumors because some are such long shots. The reason I'm even looking at this was because of another article that came out that said Quinn Hughes had been willing to come to Detroit. But it sounds like either the asking price, which included Simon Edvinsson, or the lack of a guaranteed extension, which Hughes can't sign until July, were sticking points in the deal. So you may be asking, well, if it didn't work out, why am I even looking at this? Because if Elias Pettersson is really available, there are about 31 other teams in the league outside of Vancouver that are going to be asking about him. The reason I'm looking at this is because it sounds like Yzerman had serious negotiations regarding Quinn Hughes. So in that vein, Yzerman has a good idea of what Vancouver's looking for. So if Pettersson's available, this is where I've kind of been shocked. All the trades we're looking at, whether it's a Nazem Kadri, whether it's a Ryan O'Reilly or a Braden Shen, anytime you're looking at a centerman, you're hoping for someone that can slot in at a 2C. Elias Pettersson, he could be your number one centerman, letting Larkin either be a 2C or giving Larkin an opportunity to skate on the wing. That, my goodness, that could be a fantastic line for Detroit, where you have two centers out there, so if someone gets waved out in a face-off, you've got that option. But regardless, you're adding depth at the center position with a player you legitimately don't have in the pipeline. So that's why I'm even talking about this. Now, if you're asking for the package that Vancouver got for Hughes without an extension, you take a player like Pettersson, who could be your number one center. He's going to be your top paid player in Detroit with his over $11 million salary. He had an off year last year. In 24-25, Pettersson had 45 points in 64 games, 15 goals. This year, he's got 28 points in 38 games, 13 goals. He's on pace to hit about 25 goals this year. But the two seasons before that, 23-24, 89 points in 82 games, including 34 goals. And in 22-23, 102 points in 80 games, 39 goals. And the year before that, he had 32 goals. So he had 3 straight seasons of over 30 goals, one where he almost hits 40. And he's a centerman, and he broke 100 points. The Vancouver Canucks, according to these articles, believe that a change in scenery would be a boost for Pettersson, but it's going to cost. So I'm looking at this strictly from, if he's available, you have to take your best shot at this, because this is a player you do not have in your pipeline. Danielson, if you're looking at all the trade talk, there's still a lot of people talking about Rasmus Andersson and that Danielson is the potential asking price. If you're listening to the fans, you're hearing Danielson projecting as a middle six centerman. Calgary fans seem to believe he's a third-line center in the NHL. Detroit fans will tell you he could be a second-line centerman. But either way, and I do believe Danielson is the best centerman in the pipeline right now. You do not have a number one centerman in the pipeline in Detroit. And just based on the way the drafting goes, unless you get a huge surprise, you're not going to be drafting one. So in my opinion, Pettersson could be that. He could actually step in, get in line ahead of Larkin in the center position. You could have them both on the same line, or you could split them up. Either way. But you have to take your best shot. And that means that you're probably going to be parting with multiple first-round picks. You're probably going to have to lose a defenseman that you really wanted to get, and that's probably someone like Sandin Pellikka. I don't think they'd part with Simon Edvinsson. But the fact that Pettersson has term left, that he's signed until after 2030, I believe up until 2032, you don't have to worry about an extension. If he's willing to waive that no movement clause to come to Detroit, I mean, Swedish player wearing number 40, he obviously knows the history of Detroit. Lidstrom and Zetterberg are still around the organization. If that means anything to him, that clearly bids in your favor. This is a chance to take a big step forward with a player that you do not have in your system. Almost no part of me that thinks this deal could get done. I do not think you'll see Elias Pettersson wearing a red sweater by the end of this season. But you have to try if he's legitimately available. And this is a course where I want to hear from all of you. The comments section has been amazing. Some of you have laid out really good scenarios. And in terms of a trade, first, do you think Pettersson's even really available? Or is this just some smoke, some filler, people trying to get clicks? And if he's available, are you willing to pay multiple first-round picks, one of your best young defensemen, prospects, whatever it is they're looking for? Do you think this is a player you're willing to give up significant assets for, that he'll move the needle for Detroit and push you to that next step? Let me know what you think, and I look forward to reading it. This was your 7 Minute Wings.